I want to start with something that I think will feel familiar to a lot of people watching this. You are standing at the bottom of a staircase. Maybe it is the staircase in your own home, one you have climbed 10,000 times without thinking about it. And today, for the first time, you pause at the bottom and you look up. Not because the stairs have changed, because something in your legs has. There is a heaviness there that was not there a few years ago. A hesitation. Maybe you reach for the rail in a way you never used to. Or perhaps it is getting up from a chair. What used to be automatic now requires a moment of preparation, a mental calculation, a small gathering of effort before you push yourself upright. Most people, when they notice these things, arrive at the same conclusion. This is just getting older. This is what happens, and they accept it. I have spent 40 years studying aging muscles, and I want to tell you clearly and directly that conclusion, while understandable, is not the whole story. And for many people, it is not accurate at all. Here is what the research is showing us. The reason most people lose leg strength after 60 is not simply the passage of time. It is a specific biological breakdown happening inside the muscle tissue itself. A breakdown that is increasingly well understood and increasingly addressable through what you eat every single day. After 60, the body's ability to produce the proteins needed to repair and rebuild leg muscle tissue declines significantly. The muscle fibers that give your legs their power and stability are not being renewed the way they once were. Circulation to the lower limbs decreases. The mitochondria, the tiny energy-producing structures inside your muscle cells, become more vulnerable to oxidative damage. And the result is exactly what so many seniors describe. Legs that feel heavier than they should. Fatigue that arrives sooner than expected. A gradual, quiet withdrawal from activities that used to be effortless. But here is what I find genuinely exciting about where the science is right now. Researchers are finding that specific foods, eaten consistently, prepared correctly, can directly address these biological mechanisms. They can improve circulation to leg tissue. They can protect those cellular power plants from damage. They can provide the raw materials your muscles need to repair and rebuild. And the evidence for this applies not just to people in their 60s or 70s, but to people in their 80s and 90s. Your age does not have to determine how strong your legs remain. What you eat every day has more influence over that than most people have ever been told. Today, I am going to walk you through 5 specific foods, ranked from 5 to 1, that research links to preserved and rebuilt leg strength in older adults. For each one, I'm going to tell you what is inside it, why it matters biologically, how to prepare it correctly so you get maximum benefit, and when to eat it for the best results. Because with several of these foods, timing genuinely matters. Before we dive in, a word I want to say clearly at the start. Everything I share today is evidence-informed nutritional information. It is not a replacement for your doctor or your current care plan. If you are managing a chronic condition, diabetes, kidney disease, cardiovascular disease, please speak with your physician or a registered dietitian before making significant changes to your diet. Your individual situation always comes first. What I can do is give you the best available nutritional science in language you can actually use. Now, let us start at number 5 and work our way to the food at the top of this list that I think will genuinely surprise you. Number 5, sweet potatoes. This might seem like an unexpected entry on a list about leg strength. Sweet potatoes are not a protein source. They do not immediately call to mind the idea of building muscle. But the research behind what they do for aging muscle tissue is worth understanding carefully. When researchers analyzed the diets of some of the longest living, strongest elderly populations in the world, particularly in Okinawa, Japan, where people routinely maintain physical function well into their 90s, sweet potatoes appeared consistently and prominently. Studies examining these populations found that those consuming sweet potatoes multiple times per week showed significantly better preservation of the type 2 muscle fibers in their legs, the fast twitch fibers responsible for power, stability, and the ability to catch yourself when you stumble. The primary reason comes down to beta-carotene, the compound that gives sweet potatoes their deep orange color. Your body converts beta-carotene into vitamin A, and vitamin A plays a specific protective role inside your muscle cells that scientists have only relatively recently understood. It helps protect the mitochondria, those cellular power plants, from the oxidative damage that accumulates with age. Think of oxidative damage as a form of internal rust, gradually degrading the structures responsible for producing energy in your muscle tissue. Beta-carotene helps slow that process. Sweet potatoes are also among the richest dietary sources of potassium, approximately 700 milligrams in a medium potato. Potassium is essential for proper muscle contraction, and it is directly linked to the prevention of the painful nighttime leg cramps that disrupt sleep for so many older adults. And if you can find purple sweet potato varieties, the Okinawan purple sweet potato in particular, research from Auburn University suggests their anthocyanin compounds may further support muscle endurance. How you prepare them matters considerably. Most people make the mistake of peeling sweet potatoes before cooking. The skin contains most of the fiber and a compound called chlorogenic acid that helps regulate blood sugar, which matters because insulin spikes can actually accelerate muscle tissue breakdown. Keep the skin on. The optimal preparation is to steam them whole, skin on, for approximately 25 to 30 minutes until soft but not waterlogged. This preserves the maximum nutrient content and, importantly, dramatically increases the bioavailability of beta-carotene compared to boiling or microwaving. After steaming, eat them with a small amount of healthy fat, a teaspoon of olive oil or tahini. Beta-carotene is fat-soluble, meaning your body cannot absorb it properly without fat present. That detail is small, easy to implement, and genuinely significant for how much benefit you receive. For timing, eating sweet potatoes approximately 2 hours before a walk or any leg activity provides sustained, stable energy that feeds directly into muscle cells without the blood sugar spike that would come from a faster digesting carbohydrate. Aim for 1 medium sweet potato at least 4 days per week. Alternate between orange and purple varieties where possible to access the broadest range of muscle protective compounds. Number 4. Sardines. This small, inexpensive, largely overlooked fish may be one of the most powerful foods on this entire list for the specific biological needs of aging leg muscles. And the research behind it is substantial. A 5-year study following hundreds of elderly participants found that those eating sardines just twice a week showed dramatically less muscle loss in their legs compared to those who avoided them. The difference was measurable, consistent, and significant. Why? Because sardines provide something genuinely rare in a single food, a complete package of omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin D, calcium, and high-quality protein all together in a form the body can absorb and use efficiently. The omega-3 fatty acids in sardines, specifically EPA and DHA, do something inside your muscle cells that no other nutrient replicates in quite the same way. They get incorporated directly into the membrane of every muscle cell, making those membranes more flexible and more responsive to the growth signals your body sends. As we age, cell membranes become more rigid, and that rigidity interferes with how effectively muscles can respond to the stimulus to grow and repair. Omega-3s help restore that responsiveness. The vitamin D in sardines is particularly valuable because most people over 60 are deficient in it, and that deficiency is directly linked to reduced leg strength and increased fall risk. Research has shown that correcting vitamin D deficiency can improve leg strength meaningfully within a few months. Sardines are one of the few foods that provide vitamin D in meaningful amounts, and they deliver it alongside calcium and protein, the full suite of nutrients that muscle contraction and repair require. The protein in sardines is also notable for its leucine content, the amino acid that acts as the trigger for muscle protein synthesis. Without adequate leucine, your body cannot efficiently initiate the muscle-building process, regardless of how much total protein you consume. Sardines provide it in good supply. Choose sardines packed in water or olive oil, not soybean or other refined vegetable oils, which carry an inflammatory fat profile that works against muscle recovery. Wild-caught sardines from cold Pacific or Atlantic waters carry the highest omega-3 concentrations. Eat them with the bones. The soft, edible bones are where the majority of the calcium lives, and they are entirely safe and easy to consume. If you are new to sardines, mash them with a fork and mix them with fresh lemon juice, which improves both the flavor and the iron absorption. Add them to a salad with dark leafy greens, or mash them onto whole grain toast with sliced tomato. The lemon is not optional from a nutritional standpoint. Vitamin C from the lemon meaningfully increases iron absorption from the fish. Twice a week, approximately 1 standard can per serving. Eat them within an hour or two after any walking or leg activity when your muscles are most receptive to protein synthesis. That timing converts a good meal into an optimally timed one. Number 3. Black beans. This is a food that has been consumed by some of the world's longest living populations for generations, and modern science is revealing why that matters for muscle health in ways that go far deeper than their protein content alone. Research at the National Institute on Aging has shown that older adults who eat black beans regularly have leg muscles that appear meaningfully younger on imaging compared to those who rarely eat them. The difference is not trivial. Black beans contain approximately 15 grams of plant-based protein per cup, but the specific amino acid composition is what makes them particularly useful for aging muscles. They are rich in arginine and glutamine, which support muscle protein synthesis while simultaneously reducing the inflammation in muscle tissue that accelerates breakdown. It is, in effect, a dual action, building new muscle while protecting existing tissue from further loss. But there is another mechanism that most people have never heard about, and it is one of the most interesting findings in aging nutrition research in recent years. Black beans are rich in resistant starch, a type of carbohydrate that your digestive enzymes cannot break down, which means it travels intact to your large intestine and feeds the beneficial bacteria living there. Those bacteria ferment it into compounds called short-chain fatty acids, particularly one called butyrate. Butyrate travels through the bloodstream to your muscle tissue and activates genes that actively suppress muscle wasting. Research has found that older adults with higher butyrate levels maintain significantly more leg muscle mass. Black beans are one of the most reliable ways to support that process through diet. Black beans are also rich in magnesium, approximately 120 milligrams per cup. Magnesium is essential for muscle relaxation. Without enough of it, muscles can remain in a state of partial contraction, contributing to that heavy, tight, fatigued feeling in the legs that many older adults experience and often attribute simply to age. Magnesium deficiency is extremely common in older adults and is one of the most correctable contributing factors to muscle discomfort and weakness. How to prepare them for maximum benefit. If using dried beans, soak them overnight in water with a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar or lemon juice. This breaks down phytic acid, a compound that can block the absorption of the minerals you are eating them for. After soaking, drain and cook them in fresh water at a gentle simmer for approximately 90 minutes. If using canned beans, rinse them thoroughly to remove excess sodium. The timing of black bean consumption matters for one specific reason. They digest slowly. Eating them 4 to 5 hours before bed provides a slow release of amino acids through the overnight hours, when muscle breakdown tends to be at its highest, and when adequate nutritional support can meaningfully reduce that loss. Aim for half a cup of cooked black beans at least 5 days per week. Combine them with a whole grain, brown rice or quinoa, to create a complete amino acid profile that rivals animal protein for muscle building completeness. Season with cumin and garlic, both of which add anti-inflammatory compounds that further support the muscle protective effect. Number 2. Eggs. The research on eggs and leg strength in older adults has undergone a genuine revolution in the past decade, and the findings overturn advice that many people followed for years. A landmark study from the University of Illinois found that elderly people who ate whole eggs daily had dramatically more muscle protein synthesis in their legs compared to those who ate only egg whites or avoided eggs entirely. The whole egg significantly outperformed the egg white alone. This finding, and the research that followed confirming it, fundamentally changed how nutritional scientists think about eggs for older adults. The reason is the yolk. Whole eggs provide one of the highest quality proteins available in any food, a biological value that means your body can utilize virtually all of the amino acids they provide for building and repairing muscle. But the yolk adds something critical that the white alone cannot provide. It contains vitamin D, choline, and leucine in a combination that activates what researchers call the mTOR pathway, essentially your muscle's master growth switch. This pathway becomes progressively harder to activate with age. Whole eggs are one of the most effective dietary triggers for it. Choline deserves specific mention because it is frequently overlooked in conversations about muscle health. Each egg yolk contains approximately 147 milligrams of choline, which your body uses to produce acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter that transmits the signal from your brain to your leg muscles, telling them to contract. Without adequate choline, that neural communication becomes less efficient. The result is exactly what many older adults describe: legs that feel unresponsive, coordination that feels slightly off, weakness that does not seem to correspond to how much they are eating or moving. The preparation method matters significantly. Soft-boiled or poached eggs with runny yolks preserve the most nutrients and make the protein most digestible for an older stomach. When eggs are overcooked to the point where the yolk is hard and chalky, heat-sensitive vitamins are destroyed and the protein becomes harder to absorb. Bring water to a gentle simmer, add the eggs, and cook for 6 to 7 minutes for soft-boiled. If you prefer scrambled, cook them low and slow in a small amount of butter or olive oil, removing them from heat while still slightly creamy. Timing is genuinely important here. Eating 2 to 3 whole eggs within 30 minutes after a morning walk or any leg activity creates an optimal window for muscle protein synthesis. The muscles are primed and receptive, and the nutrients in the eggs arrive at exactly the moment they can be most effectively used. For anyone still concerned about cholesterol, large-scale research has found that for most older adults, 1 to 2 whole eggs daily does not negatively impact cardiovascular health, and for many people, the overall nutritional effect is beneficial. The nutrients in the yolk actually support the way your body processes dietary cholesterol. Eat the whole egg. That is where the science consistently points. Aim for 2 to 3 whole eggs daily if you are actively working to build or maintain leg strength. The combination of leucine, choline, vitamin D, and complete protein in a single, affordable, widely available food makes eggs one of the most practical choices on this entire list. And now, number 1, wild-caught salmon. The research behind wild-caught salmon for aging muscle is among the most compelling I have reviewed in decades of studying this field. And the results of studies examining regular salmon consumption in older adults are, frankly, remarkable. Research from Washington University School of Medicine found that older adults who ate wild salmon 3 times per week experienced muscle growth and leg strength improvements that researchers typically associate with people significantly younger. The biological mechanisms behind that finding are multiple, and they reinforce each other in ways that make salmon uniquely powerful for this purpose. Wild salmon contains one of the highest concentrations in any food of a compound called astaxanthin, the carotenoid antioxidant that gives salmon its characteristic pink-red color. Astaxanthin has a specific and extraordinary property. It is able to penetrate the mitochondrial membrane, placing itself directly inside the cellular power plants of your muscle tissue, where it provides protection against the oxidative damage that is one of the primary drivers of age-related muscle decline. Most antioxidants work outside cells. Astaxanthin works inside the mitochondria themselves. That distinction matters enormously for aging muscle tissue. Beyond astaxanthin, wild salmon delivers a combination that is almost unmatched in a single food. 22 grams of complete protein per 3-ounce serving, high concentrations of EPA and DHA omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin D3 in meaningful amounts, and natural creatine that directly fuels muscle contractions. The omega-3 levels in wild-caught salmon are significantly higher than in farm-raised salmon, in some analyses up to 4 times higher. This is why the distinction between wild-caught and farmed matters practically, not just as a label preference. The vitamin D in wild salmon is in the D3 form, the same form your body synthesizes from sunlight and the most bioavailable form for human physiology. A single serving provides a substantial portion of daily needs, and this vitamin D works in synergy with the protein to activate muscle stem cells, supporting the generation of new muscle tissue even in very advanced age. How you prepare it determines how much of this nutritional value you actually receive. Cook wild salmon skin on at medium-low heat, pan-seared or baked at approximately 325 degrees Fahrenheit for 12 to 15 minutes, until just cooked through and still moist. Overcooking degrades the delicate omega-3 fatty acids and reduces the digestibility of the protein. Season simply: lemon, fresh herbs, a small amount of sea salt. The skin should be eaten where possible. It carries the highest concentration of omega-3s in the entire fish. For timing, eat wild salmon within 2 hours after any leg activity. This is the window when your muscles are most actively synthesizing new protein tissue and when the nutrients in salmon can be most directly applied to repair and growth. Aim for 3 servings per week on non-consecutive days, with 4 to 6 ounces per serving. This maintains steady omega-3 levels in your muscle tissue between servings, rather than allowing them to dip and spike. Now let me bring all 5 together, because the way these foods work in combination is as important as what each one does individually. Sweet potatoes protect the mitochondria in your leg muscles from the oxidative damage that causes energy production to decline with age. Sardines deliver the omega-3s, vitamin D, and calcium that muscle membranes and contractions require. Black beans provide the resistant starch that feeds gut bacteria and activates muscle-preserving genes, alongside the magnesium that keeps muscles relaxed and functional. Eggs supply the leucine and choline that trigger the muscle growth switch and maintain the neural communication between your brain and your legs. And wild-caught salmon wraps all of it together with astaxanthin that works directly inside your muscle cells, omega-3s that make those cells more responsive, and complete protein that gives them the raw material to rebuild. These foods are not a program. They are not a short-term intervention. They are a shift in what your body receives every week, consistently, reliably, affordably. And that consistency is the operative word. 1 serving of salmon a month will not produce the results the research describes. 3 servings a week, maintained over 12 weeks, will. Your legs have carried you through decades of life, through every ordinary day and every significant moment, through every flight of stairs and every morning walk. They deserve to be supported with the same consistency and intention that they have given you. Start with 1 or 2 of these foods this week. Build from there. The research applies to people in their 60s, their 70s, their 80s, and their 90s. The body's capacity to respond to the right nutrition does not simply switch off with age. It needs the right conditions. You can provide those conditions, beginning today with the next meal you eat. If this was useful to you, please subscribe to the channel and share this with someone in your life who could benefit from hearing it. I read every comment. Drop a note below telling me where you are watching from and which of these 5 foods you are going to start with first. I am Dr. Julian Cross. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next one.